Yamunatiravanaccha Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Rajana Yamunatiravanaccha Yamunatiravanaccha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Rajana Yamunatiravanaccha Yamunatiravanaccha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jayam Viṣṇupad Paramahansa Parvadikacharya Astatara-satasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mathura Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Maya Ki Yamuna Maya Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we offer our respectful obeisances to Narayan, the personality of Godhead, Narayana Rishi, supermost human being, to the goddess Saraswati, goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regular attendance in classes of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious in the heart becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service to the personality of Godhead comes into being as an irrevocable fact. We have a few verses. Third Canto, Chapter 11, text 24, 25, and 26 is what they gave. 24 is on the board. It's a short one. Svam, svam, kālaṁ, bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ, eka-saptatim, svam kālam manur bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ eka-saptatim. Svam kālam manur bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ eka-saptatim. Okay. Svam kālam manur bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ eka-saptatim. 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 Ladies? Svam kālam manur bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ eka-saptatim. Svam kālam manur bhuṅkte, sādhikāṁ eka-saptatim. svam, own, svam, accordingly, kālaṁ, duration of life, manu, bhuṅkte, enjoys, sa-adhikām, a little more than, he certainly, eka-saptatim, 71. Each and every manu enjoys a life of a little more than 71 sets of 4 millenniums. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The duration of life of a manu comprises 71 sets of 4 millenniums, as described in the Viṣṇu Purāṇa. The duration of life of one manu is about 852,000 years in the calculation of the demigods, or in the calculation of human beings, 306,720,000 years. So they gave me the assignment at 24, 25, and 26. Manvantareṣu manavas tad-vaṁśyā ṛṣayaḥ surāḥ bhavanti caiva yugapat sureśāś chanu ye chatan. After the dissolution of every manu, the next manu comes into order, along with the descendants who rule over the different planets. But the 7 famous sages and demigods like Indra and their followers, such as the Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with Manu. Purport. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and each of them has different descendants. Esha Dainam Dina Sargo Brahmas Trilokya Vartana Tiryan Nripati Devanam Sanbhavo Yatra Karmabhi. In the creation, during Brahma's day, the 3 planetary systems, Swarga, Marcha, and Patala, revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activity. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarane Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tveshe Namaha. Hey Krishna, Arpanchatatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Gangam Langayate Garim, Tat Kripa, Tamaham Vande, Shigarundi Natarane. Krishna Tadiya Padabhankaj Vanjarantam, Adyaiva Me Visatu Manasaraja Hansan, Prana Pranama Samaye, Kapapata Vittai, Kantavaro, Danavido, Smaranam, Kutaste. Jai. Well, thank you for coming in spite of my giving class. This is a very difficult one to speak on. There's hardly any purport. Manu lives for, 306 million of our years. But for him, we don't have a lot of details, but he has to get his daughter married and same old stuff, He has more time to do it. And it's very organized. In the 8th canto, we get descriptions of future manus, and even who will be Indra, and who will be this one, and who will be that one. It's not the same person all the time. But it's a very long lifespan. It's only 14 manus in a whole day of Brahma. And there are different personalities, and some of them are sometimes Indra, then Manu, then this, then that. Like Bali Maharaj will be Indra, some future Manu. So his life is also, incredibly long. So we have our little short life, but we have a great special fortune. And depending on, how our consciousness is, we may think our life is very, very long, and, and sometimes it seems too short. But it's not how long we live, but what we do with the time. So we have a special benediction that Lord Chaitanya comes only once in the day of Brahma. Krishna himself comes only once. There's unlimited incarnations. All different kinds of incarnations are described. Praavesh and Shaktivesh and Vaibhava and Prabhava, and empowered and fully empowered, and so many different things. But Krishna himself comes only once, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we have in this age also comes only once, because he's the avatari. Krishna's avatari, and Lord Chaitanya's avatari, not avatar. Avatar means it comes down. The English translation, incarnation, is not correct, because karna means material body, flesh. He doesn't take flesh, he doesn't take a body like us. Ishopanishad says he's without veins and all these things. But he does have a form, he does have a personality, and a very amazing, special personality. So we have the special mercy of living on this earth, which is, according to Lord Brahma, telling the demigods, is the best body to have in the entire universe. It's certainly not the longest life body, or the most beautiful body, or the most strongest body, or anything most. They also have very long life, great mystic powers. and great opulence, but they're also never happy because they're full of lust. And then because they're full of lust, they're angry and greedy. They want to take more land and conquer the demigods. No reason. They have so much already, but they want more. So we had the great fortune of being here only 500 years after Lord Chaitanya appeared, even only 5,000 years after Krishna appeared. That's not very long in even the life of Manu, even the life of, ordinary demigods, which is what, something like 10,000 of our years. And there's other demigods, if we want, there's crazy people now. One very rich man, all he does is try to live long. He got rich in Silicon Valley, so he has a whole house full of exercise equipment and doctors and supplements and thinking that he can live for hundreds of years. Says he's not aging, but he doesn't know it. The karma's there. We have an assignment. I just heard Prabhupada this morning, so many breaths. So he mentioned sense enjoyment. That shortens our lifespan. Yogis will practically stop breathing and then they can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if they're lucky, they could be meditating on Krishna. But even, we have descriptions of how difficult it is, these yoga practices where you have to raise the life air up through the chakras and then merge these elements into the greater elements one by one, and then focus on where you want to go when you finally can, if you can get that far, to leave your body through the top of the head. Very, very difficult for anybody. But Lord Chaitanya has given us a much better system. We just have to surrender, give up the false ego, chant the holy name, and try to be a servant of Krishna. Very special mercy, Lord Chaitanya's movement. There are other Lord Chaitanyas in other Kali Yugas, but not the same. There's so many incarnations, even in this age, in these 4 yugas that we live in, that we know about. We only know about major ones. It says Krishna incarnates in every species, but it's always Krishna. All these different incarnations. It's Krishna, and when Krishna himself comes, all the other incarnations are there within the body of Krishna. So he does, even as a baby, he can kill monstrous demons that even Indra can't deal with. But it's not exactly Krishna, it's the incarnate, but it is Krishna. Simultaneously one and different. It's something we have to think about. Achintya Beta Beta Tattva. Lord Chaitanya took 2 major things from all of the sampradayas, and then he perfected everything with this Achintya Beta Beta Tattva, that simultaneously one and different. It is spiritual and material at the same time, or it is and it isn't. And to maybe a scientist, a mundane scientist, that sounds like, a cop-out. They say that, you don't understand. Because you don't understand, you just say that. But actually that's because we do understand Achintya Beta Beta Tattva, inconceivable energies. Krishna, it's, the scientists, they don't want to think about Krishna, they don't even want to think about the soul, because they can't bottle it up, they can't measure it, they can't put it in a box, they can't see it, they can't smell it, they can't taste it, there's nothing. So they just want to say there's no such thing. But to speak of the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Intelligence. I met in Los Angeles one time, near the university, one so-called scientist, and he was saying how everything is created by accident, just by chance, the whole universe. And I tried to talk to him. I said, like, I think a wristwatch or something, would you say that there was an explosion in a junkyard and then, Rolex watches came out? He said, that's ridiculous. It took so much science and so much engineering and so many things. I said, well, what about the universe? It's much more complicated, much more regulated. It doesn't ever need repair. Oh, that's different. Finish. They're like that. So Prabhupada wanted to deal with them and defeat them. That there's so many now will state that there's some sort of intelligence behind it. Otherwise, how can we predict? We all have maybe the calendar in our phone, and you can look up the sunrise for 2 years from now, anywhere in the world, and it's there. And if you wait around, you'll see it happens on schedule, right? So if it's by chance, how can you predict? No. So many things we can't predict. We can have a general idea, but we can't give. But some things, the way the planets are moving is very predictable because it's organized and created by Krishna. So from the Sampradayas, Lord Chaitanya extracted 2 main lessons. From Madhvacharya, defeating in the Mayavadis, and that the deity is an eternal personality. So Madhva wrote a book, 108 refutations of Mayavadi. You can find that book around online. He actually gave the exact statement of the Mayavadis and then dismantled it. 108 different ways. Very important in the progress of, establishing Krishna consciousness. And from the Lakshmi Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya, pure bhakti with no material desires. Anyabhilasita sunyam jnanakaman arvitam. If you read Prabhupada's purports, we'll find that, very often, right? One of the most often quoted verses throughout all of Prabhupada's lectures, all of his purports. It must be free from jnana and karma, and just trying to please Krishna. And then service to the Vaishnavas. Ramanuja's last instructions were mostly about serving devotees. Very, very important. Lord Chaitanya, I only memorized one, but I found 3 verses the same, more or less. Vaishnav Seva Nama Sankirtan, Duipabe Shigre, Shri Krishna Charam. The Bengalis know that one, right? We have Bengalis here. But first thing is Vaishnav Seva, then Nama Sankirtan. Duipabe, only these 2 things. Shigra. Shigra means quick. Shri Krishna Charan. You get the lotus feet of Krishna. My godbrother Sridhar Swami, he would use that word shigre in his preaching. Subhasa shigram. When he's, promoting and trying to engage people in service, and they're hesitating, he'd say subhasa shigram. If it's auspicious, you should do it right away. Don't hesitate. And that's good advice in business, If you get some idea, do it. If you want to do something, you want to chant, chant. Don't think I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later. Serious problem in the world, procrastination. Because there may not be later. Or even if there is later, we may forget what we were planning to do. Do it now. You want to serve Krishna? Do it. Do it right away. Then from Viṣṇu Swami, that's the Rudra Sampradaya, total surrender to Krishna and Ragamarga, spontaneous devotional service. Doing it not because of some kind of obligation, anything, just because we want to do it. Spontaneous. And from the Kumar Sampradaya, that's Nimbarka, taking shelter of Radharani and worshipping the gopis. So all those things are in Lord Chaitanya's movement, and just standard part of life that we need to work on. If we're following temple program or something, then automatically at least we're exposed to all these things. If we're reading Srila Prabhupada's books, of course, all these things are there over and over and over again. Prabhupada gave in his purports, all the knowledge of all the previous acharyas, all the Vedas and everything. And it's an ever-expanding thing. I was just with Naragopal Prabhu and his group for Navadvip Parikrama. So he's very absorbed in Chaitanya Leela. He has access to all the Bengali books. And he was saying how he's doing these things over and over and over again, every year here, but then other places. But he's finding a new thing every time. And that's actually what happens. Our mind will say, I read that already. I read the Bhagavad Gita, No. But if we read it again, it's like a new book. Different factors are there. One is we forget a lot of things. Another one is it's Krishna. So he's revealing himself more and more according to our attempts to, dig in, our attempts to dive into the unlimited ocean, the unfathomable ocean of nectar of Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela, Prabhupada Leela, everyone especially likes. And the last few years especially, Krishna's been making that more and more available to everybody with the video series and then more and more books devotees are giving us. I thought it should be like mandatory for initiation. Someone's read the entire Prabhupada Leelamrita at least, because we have to know the person, Prabhupada, just like we want to know the person, Krishna. So Prabhupada knew that, so very early on he gave us the Krishna book. Before we had the first canto, only a few people had the first canto. When the Krishna book was distributed profusely, there was still, as far as Srimad Bhagavatam, there was only the 200 original sets that Prabhupada brought with him, right? But Krishna book was distributed everywhere, and so many people got to know Krishna. So many people joined the Hare Krishnas. And it's still like one of the most important books we have. The special effort Prabhupada made to make all the one painting for every chapter. He delayed the production of the book in order to finish all the paintings. It's so important. Saw the Indian BBT recently, their latest Krishna book, they put not all, but many of the original paintings in. They may look like, you know, a very good child artist, some of them, but Prabhupada loved those paintings. He would stick them on the airplane seat in front of him and chant. The devotees said, Prabhupada, we don't know anything. You know, Prabhupada had written out some pastime and say, paint this. He said, just chant all the time while you're painting, and it'll be fine. And the result was very, very fine. I remember when I first sold the Krishna book, I didn't know anything, hardly read it, and I just say, my guru says these paintings are windows to the spiritual world, and show them a few paintings, and they'd say, how much is it? It was pretty amazing selling that book. So we are, you know, now we might think, why do we have to hear about the manus, you know? But it's Srimad Bhagavatam. It's all part of Krishna's creation. The material world is also Krishna Leela. He's creating it for purpose, out of love and compassion for the souls who have somehow, you know, causelessly decided, we don't want to serve Krishna, I want to be the enjoyer. So we can try to enjoy in all the different species of life. Any of us might have been a manu, and tried to enjoy family life for 306 million years. But I have all the same issues, you know, that we have. So we shouldn't try to enjoy this material world. It's not possible. When one realizes that you can't squeeze any more juice out of it, you can't, chewing the chewed is not satisfying. My father asked me one time, do you save your chewing gum overnight, you know, for the next day? I was shocked, but they used to do that. They were so poor. So I would chew it for a couple of minutes until the sugar went out, and then get another one, you know. So we're trying so desperately to get some nectar from this body, from this mind, you know, from other people. But without Krishna, it's all, and there may be some kind of illusion of pleasure, happiness for a few minutes, chapala sukha. That we had a verse I was covering in the Bhagavatam the other day, and that was Maharaj Chittiketu. And it was almost exactly that song, you know, Abhaya Charanada Vindare, Chapala Sukha, Durlabha Manava, Janama Sansange. Everything was right in that one sloka. How can you know, what is the use of this pleasure of the family and the, you know, so-called pleasures of the body or the bank account or the houses or the vehicles, you know? If you do enough certain yajna, you can get a heavenly vehicle that travels by your whim wherever you want to go. Without it, you don't have to stop for fuel. There's no pollution. And not only that, it's full of beautiful women glorifying you, singing songs of your glory. These are descriptions given in the Vedas. So Krishna says, beware of these flowery words of the Vedas. You know, surrender to me, think of me. The Vedas deal mainly with the three modes of material nature, how to enjoy within the modes without incurring sinful reactions, and doing yajnas, doing this, doing that. But this is not our purpose in life. Lord Chaitanya has come, he's given the Sankirtan movement. It's spreading like wildfire. I was at the Indian ICC meeting, the temple leaders and secretaries of India. They took a pledge to have 10,000 Harinam parties in India next year. That's nice, right? They're on the right track. Besides how many books they're distributing, you can't even count. And how many temples they're building every day. Almost every day there's a new temple opening. I recommend anybody, if you go to Delhi, take a week off or 2 weeks and try to visit all the temples, all 18 of them, because it's quite a bit of traveling in between. I can't even remember all of them. They're all spectacular. They're all packed up with guests all the time. And they all have restaurants, and they all have always addition going on. Even Delhi, in the original temple there in Kailash, they have all those exhibits. They're all being upgraded now by the government Ministry of Culture or something. They're breaking down all the old exhibits and improving everything. It's become such a big thing. The government had to build big parking lots because so many people, buses come into the temple. So there's something happening. This is Prabhupada's causeless mercy. First time I went to temple in Delhi, it was a very small house in a place called Lajpat Nagar. I'm sure that none of our life members now would live in that house. They'd say it's too small for their family. But Radha Parthasarthi were there, the temple was going on. Before that, even smaller place. But now they've expanded all over Delhi. It's called NCR, in 18 temples. But then so many other branches and preaching centers and satellite temples, what to speak of Bhakti-vriksha groups. And this is happening all over the world, maybe not on quite such a massive scale, but this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We want to take part in it. When I first went to the temple, it said, you got to join right away. If you don't join, it'll be all over. Someone else will do it. The whole world will be conquered. The temples are filling up. If you don't join, there'll be no room for you. You better give it up right now, you fool. You're stupid. You're wasting your life. Give it up. And fortunately, I didn't have any other alternatives, so Krishna allowed me to come. So we're here, and in the holy Dham of Mayapur, the most sacred place, the center of everything, where it all started, where Lord Chaitanya appeared himself and exhibited, the most amazing pastimes for 24 years, and started the protest movement, which is Harinam Sankirtan, the consummate protest movement. We're protesting everything. We're protesting restriction, we're protesting freedom of sense gratification, we're protesting on all sides. But not only protesting, because we're actually offering a perfect alternative. Give up everything for Krishna. Whatever you have, whatever you do, do it for Krishna. Offer it to Krishna. Even I was in one church one time, and in front of the pulpit was a sign, "This do as an offering to me," from God. So everybody knows. But Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada, he gave us exactly how to do it. He gave us the facilities, he gave us place, not only books, not only knowledge, but a whole society where anybody can come and be plugged in and to the Sankirtan movement on any kind of level, and everybody's contribution is equally glorious. Somebody has to sweep up, somebody has to build a temple, someone has to cook and clean up. Without, Sudras, the Brahmanas can't function. The foolish Brahmanas, condemn Sudras nowadays, but they can't function without them. No, we're all meant to work together, to keep the wheels turning, like the Indian Railroad said. Not everybody's driving the train, but everybody's keeping the wheels turning. So whatever anybody is doing, and just sitting in your house chanting or doing puja, it's pushing on the Sankirtan movement, especially from Mayapur, because it magnifies the thing. So we have to stop for comments or questions. Comments are welcome because everyone has special, unique realizations that no one else has. This is a statement of Jiva Goswami. So we look for realizations from everybody because we can learn from every devotee. That's why we want to get together and discuss the Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for your class. You brought up a point about how you had a strong realization that reading the full Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita before taking initiation would be very important for our movement. So you said it at the right time, because we're going to be launching the Srila Prabhupada introductory course. It will, we're actually looking for teachers right now, and we'll have, in order to teach it, one has to take TTC 1 and TTC 2. We're doing a compressed version of that, which will launch on December 1 through the 8th. It's 2 hours a day. And then on the 9th, those devotees that have taken the course can also, it's important that they attend the course so they see how it's actually presented. 2 very expert devotees will do this. This course actually has been designed by Atul Krishna, who was the key player in designing the ISKCON Disciple course. So it's, potentially will come to that platform. Now this is based upon the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita abridged version. So we're looking for candidates that would like to teach it. A certain level of seniority is certainly beneficial. But attend these 2 courses, and then we'll start teaching it all over the community and all around the world. There's many devotees that want to export it, like Srivas wants to take the whole thing to West Africa. And they're doing a lot of Shastric courses there. He's been teaching here for years. And so he's going to take it with him. So anyway, if anybody knows me, they can approach me, and certainly would love to have as many devotees as possible become teachers. We've got a large community here, so these courses can go on in a multiple way. We'll be using the Mayapur Institute classrooms, the kutirs. Anyway, there's my comment, Maharaj.
Well, thank you very much. You have the Prabhupada connection, right?
Well, the Prabhupada Network, and then our next Prabhupada Connect Day will be the day after devotees arrive for the Gorpanim Festival, which will be February 20. And we've already got commitments from some amazingly empowered devotees like Radha Swami, and we're working on right now to fill up the roster. And I think you'll be here, so we want you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Ramaswar Prabhu is here.
Yeah.
Should be good. Thank you very much.
All right, so
Yeah.
and then we're developing a more advanced course. This first course is just to get to know Prabhupada, to appreciate him, to develop your love for him. And then we'll do the founder Acharya course, which gives a lot of the philosophy, the Gaudiya Vaishnava history, and so many things about going deep in the relationship and how important this is for the long-term stability and strength of our movement. We're entitling our February 20 Srila Prabhupada Connect Day. The theme will be 10,000-year empowerment, because that's what Prabhupada came as a mantra upashaka to start this golden age, 10,000-year golden age.
All right. Okay. Any volunteers? Any comments or any other question? Yeah. The
more you teach, the more you learn.
Teaching is the best way to learn. They have studies of what percentage of you remember according to how you, and when you teach something, you remember the most.
I had a question about your class. You're describing the life of a manu, and then manus, one after another, there are in one day of Lord Brahma. So if we just take the life of one manu, that's 306 million of our Earth years. And then at the end of his life, is there a partial devastation? It's not like the devastation at the end of Brahma's day. But what happens at the end of the life of each manu? Because it's said in the texts that when the next manu comes, all his descendants will gradually appear to rule all of the planets, but the demigods appear simultaneously with each manu. So Indra, the next Indra appears.
There right away.
With manu. So is there a devastation?
I have no idea. Oh. I've never seen that information.
Okay.
But it sounds like, no, that things just go on. Like something like, change of presidents or political parties or something, everything changes, but basically it doesn't affect anybody in the country.
Brings in the new cabinet, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
I think
Thank you.
It sounds like it's something like that according to my feeble, tiny brain.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much. Rameshwar Prabhu, I was just going to comment on that question. From my understanding,
you have to keep.
From my understanding, I was under the impression that there was what they call a partial devastation after each manu, because that's what example given usually is the Matsya avatar came shortly before the appearance of Vaivashvata Manu, and so during that there was a partial inundation of certain places. So that was what I thought. So I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah.
Because the Matsya avatar appeared during that devastation, which was the change of manus between the previous manu and Vaivasvata Manu.
And maybe there's something we don't know every time, because never exactly the same, but thank you for that. So whatever it is, people aren't really aware of it. It's like this is a chincha. Even just some tiny part of the material creation is inconceivable and beyond our, comprehension. And it's to give us some idea of what is Krishna, that all this is so far, even Mahavishnu is a portion of a portion of a portion of Krishna. So anyway, it's a good point. So there might be, all right, anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Huh? Yeah. There is?
Well, because there's all new rulers of the planets, all new demigods appear. So it does make...
Yeah, but they're all doing the same job, so it's very hard to say exactly what happened. Different, you know, there's Indra, it's just a different person. Yeah. Okay. I just said from the start, I don't know, but my...
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this today's class itself, this sloka 25, the translation is, after the dissolution of each and every manu, the next manu comes order along with his descendants, who rule over the different planets, the 7 famous sages, and demigods like Indra and their followers, and as Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with Manu. And one line purport is, there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and each of the different descendants. This today's class, it was there in sloka 25.
Purport, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
How it works, you know, we don't have, at least I have never gone that deep. The Bhagavatam deals mostly with Krishna, you know, with the spiritual side, but it does give us all this information. There may be some place it tells much, much more, but that's what we were saying. So anyway, it's just another inconceivable energy of the Lord. The Chintya Beta Beta Tattva, it is and it isn't, and you know, we know at the end of Brahma's day there's partial annihilation. That much I know for sure. But anyway, Manu is, and he makes the laws, the Manu Samhita. Of course, many of the laws of the Manu Samhita we couldn't apply in this day and age. Everybody'd have to be tortured and killed. But he makes the laws for mankind. All right, so time is over time. So before I get dragged off the seat and stop, thank you very much for coming. It's an honor to be in the association of such nice devotees in the Holy Dham. And we recommend everybody to go on the Navadvip Mandala Parikramā and experience the Holy Dham and all the different islands where Lord Chaitanya had so many amazing pastimes, unlimited, starting here on Antardvip, where he appeared and exhibited all the childhood pastimes and the youthful pastimes of scholarship and starting the Sankirtan movement. Very, very inconceivable. The Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. The Manu ki jai. We need Manu, of course. He's got
His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj ki